Do you guys remember when the volcano in Iceland erupted and cancelled a whole bunch of flights, and there was the meme of that guy at the airport?
You only found out when you got to the airport. You didn't know in your hotel.
No, I hate Iceland!
So
I
there you
hate
go.
Iceland!
I mean, you get a lot of stag parties leaving Edinburgh at this time of the morning, a lot of drink taken in the early hours as well.
That's like me, but with coronavirus.
You didn't know in your hotel.
No, I hate
Coronavirus. I've not like planned exactly what I'm gonna say in this video, but the last few weeks of my life I've just been consumed with this damn virus. It's all that anyone talks about, it's all I see about in the news, in memes, everywhere. It's all that my friends, my family talk about, and oh my god, I'm just mentally exhausted. But basically, I have nothing else to talk about because there's been nothing else on my mind these past few weeks. So I'm just gonna talk about the situation as I see it, how it affects me in Japan, the kind of risk level, that kind of thing. Although what I will say is I've seen a couple of videos already online about like, oh, should you travel to Japan right now and stuff like that. But ultimately, I don't think that's for anyone to say at the moment anyway, as of when I'm filming this, because we're in a period of just a lot of uncertainty. In a matter of days, a lot could change with the situation. So if you already have travel plans to Japan or something, then you just gotta monitor the situation carefully, to be honest, and decide for yourself. I'm sure if the situation develops significantly, then I will be talking about it more here. So do subscribe if you don't want to miss that. In terms of day-to-day life, there has definitely been a shift in the atmosphere within Japan, just literally in like the last 5 days. Because before that, I would say that I had not noticed any difference other than it's in the news a lot. It's just kind of clicked nationally that, you know, this is something we need to be worried about a little bit. So yeah, all the toilet paper is out of stock, soap's starting to run out, any kind of toilet paper-ish item like kitchen roll tissues, they're all very hard to find now. So yeah, that sucks. I low-key stole some toilet paper from school the other day, but
I'll be taking that, thank you very much.
I mean, I have a little bit, but I'm like, I don't know how long this toilet paper drought's gonna last. But I'm not too concerned for myself health-wise, because ultimately the number of confirmed cases is quite low within Hyogo, the prefecture I'm based in. There's only 2 confirmed cases right now, one in Nishinomiya, one in Kobe. Although I imagine that there's way more than that, because basically I think Japan is not handling this great. So like, for example, the Prime Minister asked all of the schools in Japan to close for 2 weeks, but what that really means is that all the students get sent home for 2 weeks. Teachers and all like the old people who the virus is much more of a threat to still have to come into work every day by public transport and mingle together for, you know, the normal working hours. Meanwhile, the students are treating this as a holiday and they're going to be out every day as if, yeah, it's just an early vacation. So really, that's not great. It seems like a lot of people are saying it's just like to look good to the rest of the world, since everyone's wondering like, oh, you know, are the Olympics going to be cancelled? Is it going to reach that point? So, you know, Japan really wants to appear like they're doing stuff. But what they're not doing is testing many people. I don't know if that's because it's really expensive to do so, or because they physically don't have the capabilities to test many people, or what. The requirements to get tested are so high, they turn away so many people. You know, the number of confirmed cases is what it is. I feel like there's way more than that. So like, I'm still going to work every day, even though without classes I have nothing to do. So for the next literally a month, because I'm not teaching again until April, I have no work to do at work. I'm going in to watch Netflix all day every day for a month, having to get like public transport every day and be in a big group of teachers, and you know, they're basically saying like you have to risk your health to come and do nothing, which is obviously ridiculous. And I'm not saying that if I could stay home that I would just stay in my house all day. I'm not saying that's the case, but it's just, it seems messy the way it's being handled anyway. That's just my perspective. But also, you know, there is a lot of misinformation floating around when you're reading about it or whatever. Just be careful not to take things too literally or seriously straight away. You know, make sure, you know, where's the source of this information and stuff. I actually had the flu right before I went to Fukuoka, and the symptoms of the flu are very similar. So I was a little bit paranoid. So of course I went to the doctors, and literally as I was describing my symptoms to the doctor, he like slowly reached over and put on his face mask, and I'm just like, okay, that's not like unnerving. And like he confirmed it was just the regular old flu. Then by school I was told like, okay, you need to take the week off where you're not allowed to come in. But even like at the doctor's, I had all these flu symptoms, and he was like, oh, well, you know, you've not traveled to any of like China or Wuhan or wherever, and you've not come into contact with anyone you know for sure has been confirmed with the virus and stuff, so you don't really meet the requirements, he says, as I'm sitting there with an almost 39-degree fever, you know, the chills, coughing, everything. And I'm just like, is that sensible in this period of time to just be like, no, we don't need to worry? But actually he'd forgotten to initially test me for the Japanese flu, which he then did and confirmed that's what it was. But some good stuff's happening. Like, they've closed a bunch of big places like USJ and Disneyland and stuff, and a lot of events are being cancelled, which does suck for me. Like, I had so many concerts planned the next few months, which are all starting to be cancelled. Even one I had in mid-May, I had tickets for Avril Lavigne, and that's been postponed until next year, which truly sucks. I was very looking forward to that, but I do think it's for the best. Anyway, wow, I went on a long tangent. Yeah, day to day, I'm not worried about myself personally, because I think even in the very unlikely circumstance that I was to catch the virus, as things stand now, it doesn't seem like it's doing much to younger people for the most part. That doesn't mean you should be careless. I'm still washing my hands as often as possible, trying to kind of touch less when I'm on public transport, avoiding touching my face, because, you know, we don't know how this virus could develop. Just because for the most part it doesn't seem to be affecting young people so much, that doesn't mean that young people are immune to severe consequences, you know? But ultimately, I'm not scared of getting sick or anything. That is not my main concern. Currently, my main concern is that I have flights back to Edinburgh next Monday, so actually the day this is being posted, hopefully I'll be at the airport. I'm trying to go to Scotland, and I've been so back and forth about it the last few weeks because the flight doesn't look like it's going to be cancelled, which means I'm not likely to get a refund if I choose not to get it. But, you know, I don't want to end up getting to Edinburgh airport, cough twice, and then be put in quarantine for 2 weeks, because that's my whole holiday. And then that'll use up all of my paid leave, which I then won't have to use to schedule a different trip to Scotland later down the year. But if I cancel the trip, I lose like $1,000 that I spent on these flights. And my parents keep saying, oh, don't worry about the money, we'll cover it. But, you know, this is still a consideration. And I want to get out of Japan right now. I kind of feel like I need a wee break. And I have been missing Scotland very much, so I really do want to go back. But then I'm also low-key worried because although I don't believe I have the virus, it's very unlikely that I have it. I have 0 symptoms. I just feel like it'll always be in the back of my mind, oh, what if just symptoms aren't showing up? Because they can take some time and they're not always apparent. And what if I pass whatever on to somebody back home I care about? Although that's me being just extra paranoid, am I going to enjoy my trip if that's constantly in the back of my mind? Is it worth going on right now with that being the case? But that, I think also that's just a lot of negative feelings and a negative mood kind of building up and overthinking things. So I feel like if I was to go once I get there, I'll be back to like feeling all ginky and stuff. But, you know, it's seeming more and more likely that it's just going to be unavoidable for this to spread everywhere. So, you know, when people say, should I travel to Japan? It's getting to the point where it's like, well, you're not any more or less at risk in Japan than you are in a lot of places. Scotland had its first confirmed case of the virus a couple days ago as well. So like, it's really getting everywhere. But basically, there's just so much to consider, and I'm just gonna leave it to a last minute decision because, you know, a lot can change in a couple days. Today I'm leaning towards I'm just gonna go, but like, you know, that could easily change literally by the time I finish filming this video. On that note, if I do manage to make it back to Scotland, this will be the last video I post for probably 3 weeks, because I'm going home for 2 weeks and I'm not going to be doing any video stuff while I'm back there. I might take a few clips on my phone, but I'm unlikely to be actually editing anything to post, so yeah, so this will be the last of me. See farewell. Something I said to someone the other day was, I just kind of wish it was out of my control. Like, if someone just told me, oh, your flight's been cancelled, I'd be like, okay, fine, whatever, I have to reschedule for another time. It's not my fault, there's nothing I can do. But since it's like it seems like it's going to be very much my decision whether I want to risk going home or not and having issues with that. It's going to be like on me if it goes south, and I really don't like having that pressure on myself, so that's also been weighing me down a lot. If I post next week, then it'll probably be another one about coronavirus and me just being angry at the whole situation, which I have been this week as it is, but this is like, I feel like if I'd filmed this video yesterday or the day before, it would have been a much more angry video, much more emotions, but I've kind of calmed down a bit. The more people I speak to, the more I'm like, okay, this will be fine. The flight, I mean, not the whole situation. Oh my god. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm just tired. I'm so tired of talking about it. I'm not really trying to make a point here. I just feel like I have nothing else to talk about, and it's been all that's on my mind recently, and Semi just needed a bit of a rant. I've basically just been in a constant shit mood for the last week or two. Just everything. It's just been weighing on me. I'm not having fun in Japan right now. I'm kind of over it. I'm just glad I recontracted for a third year, because if I hadn't, I would have been trying to cross everywhere I want to travel to off my list right now, and all the restrictions on travel would have made that very difficult. So I would have been really, really annoyed if I hadn't recontracted. So I'm definitely glad I'm doing the third year. Wherever you are in the world, just, you know, be careful, have good hygiene. Whatever your opinion is, whether you want to be held up at home or you're just gonna go about life as usual, a bit more cautionate, whether you want to travel to Japan or cancel your plans or whatever, like, it's ultimately your own decision. You just got to keep monitoring the situation and decide if you think it's worth the risk. I don't know, I'm just, even talking about it and filming this video, you can probably tell I'm just tired. I'm so tired and really pissed off at the whole situation. It's just really inconvenient, you know, it's like just not great. Ooh, I feel like I've just rambled about not much right now. I'm gonna get ready for bed. Oh, I hate everything right now. Okay. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Okay, bye-bye.